So if you're creative, juggling multiple disciplines, you probably know the feeling, right? You're always busy, always moving, but somehow still too often feel stuck. You're making progress on paper, but it doesn't quite feel like you're ever getting that momentum. You're showing up, but the results don't quite land. And I know that feeling very well. But then something very unexpected happened the other day. So a friend asked me how I managed to juggle it all, music, writing, filmmaking, and the podcast with my freelance work. And I surprised myself with how quickly I replied. I said, I have one clear purpose per day. So that night though, it hit me that I wasn't actually living by it, not fully. I was getting things done, but everything was sort of collapsing on top of one another, feeling off balance. And whatever was pulling my attention pulled everything else apart with it. So I took a step back and I looked honestly at the totality of my life, and I began to build a new system around the answer that I so spontaneously gave without even thinking. So this isn't a productivity hack, it's rather a rhythm, a way to stay connected to your work without being utterly consumed by it. So in this video, I'll share the story behind that shift, how it helped me emerge from the precipice of burnout, and how it's really helping me with the totality of the ecosystem of my creative life. And I hope it helps you get back into your groove as well. Let's go. So let's just rewind for a second. A few months ago, I was doing everything. Music, I'm releasing a new album this year, podcast, Substack, YouTube, newsletter. All of it are important aspects of my creative life, but everything was bleeding into everything else. And I was running on fumes. And that's when I realized, like, life isn't a to-do list, it's an ecosystem. When one part floods, burnout, stress, overconnection, the whole damn thing tips over, it buckles. So we think we're progressing, but actually we're just surviving. And I think in a world where everything is urgent, meaningful things get drowned out. So I took a walk, sat with a notebook, and I asked myself, what's actually helping me move forward and what's just noise? So this wasn't the first time that I'd hit this particular wall. When I launched my podcast, it had some unexpected and wonderful success, breaking into the Apple Top 50 in the creativity charts. And it created this amazing momentum, but with it came a pressure for output. I wanted to keep going, but I was completely maxed out with my freelance work and all the other aspects of my life. So my rhythm naturally faltered, and with it, the early energy just vanished. And I remember, like, there was something that Alex Hormozy said, which was that 90% of podcasts don't get past episode 3. And of that 10% that do, 90% don't make it past episode 20. And it hit hard because I was already well past episode 20, but I still felt like I was only just at the beginning and only just starting to understand what a podcast really could be and what it could be if I just stuck with it. And that's the part that most people miss, that the knowledge doesn't arrive at the start, it comes after. You have to stay long enough for the real education to begin. And that insight became like a turning point for me, not just for the podcast, but across my creative life. So I recommitted not to do more, but to consistency itself, to making the podcast serve my wheat rather than stealing from it. And the solution and that enabled me to be able to do this was always the same. It was one clear purpose per day. That's how I brought the podcast back alongside the newsletter and the YouTube and the music without completely losing my mind. So here's how it works, like this idea of one clear purpose. Each day I assign one clear focus. Even if I only have an hour, that hour belongs to the one thing. And why does it work? Well, first of all, it reduces context switching. You buy back your brain's full capacity by not juggling. Secondly, it relieves the guilt of I should be doing something else. You're doing what you choose to do. And thirdly, it creates space for flow. And I think this is the thing, like, deep work happens when you stay long enough to really sink into that thing that you're doing. So take this video, for example. When I sat down this morning, I had a million different things I could have done. I had a few notes, but no flow. I could have pivoted into something else, feeling a bit resistant, check my inbox, tidy my desk, do all these different things, but I didn't do it. And That's what made the difference, committing to the thing itself, even when your brain tries to wriggle away from it. So why does all of this matter? Well, for me, this isn't about squeezing in more and more and more and doing more. It's about actually paradoxically creating space for attention, for depth, and for meaning. So I find that when I work like this, I feel like myself again, and I don't mean it metaphorically. I mean it much more like I actually stop. I stop feeling like a scattered algorithm, like a dispersed maniac, and I start feeling like a human doing work that actually matters to me. I'm present, I'm in it, I'm alive, I'm deep, and I'm discovering. So guys, my takeaway is take something small and get started today. Now, rather than this typical thing that we're all doing nowadays with multitasking and just trying to do one aspect of one part of our life, distribute it over a month, just take the one thing and say, how am I going to really move this forward today? Take one thing and go really all in on that aspect for one day. Even if you have 30 minutes and you've got a side hustle, or you're trying to get a podcast going or a YouTube channel, take one aspect and make that your thing. Block the time, say, right, that hour I'm gonna get in and nothing else will distract me. What I love about this principle of one clear purpose a day is that it's not a system that you're just trying to force upon your life. It's very, very organic, and it's very, very simple. And it's a system that, rather than trying to follow, one of these crazy Notion templates with a billion different things and steps you got to follow, it just clarifies everything so that your system is actually bending to your life rather than breaking you upon its wheel. Try it, let me know how it goes for you, drop a comment. I'm Jim, and I'm really so honored that you're here, and subscribe if you will, and I'll see you along the way.